Hi again, folks. Chris Anderson with Mount Comfort RV. Another 2018 just rolled in. We're getting them like hotcakes now. So got to get the new information out there. I know you want to see the videos. This will be a detailed video, so this won't be some quick 5-minute hitter. I'm probably not the guy for those type of videos. Let's take a good thorough look at this. New for 2018. This is a new option. This isn't standard. This is an option for a flagpole holder. There's a little adapter that goes in there, and your flagpole sticks right out of there. You don't have to have a separate stand of some kind for your flag, and you're not tethering it to your ladder or something. So that's nice. All the Newmars with the masterpiece finish on them, they do have this clear film on the front end. Okay, this clear film protects against bugs and rock chips. You can't really see it on there. Sometimes it doesn't come out very well on the camera, and I apologize for that, but trust me, it's there and you can see it when you're in person. Side cameras, backup cameras, obviously standard features. Also, chrome baggage mirrors have been optioned in on this coach. On the Ventana, we can also option in the keyless entry. So you can type in your code here and unlock your door, or lock your door, or lock or unlock all of your baggage doors at once. I love that feature. You can also, you got a little doorbell there. How could you live life without a doorbell in an RV? So we've got that. New feature for 2018 also, when you take this coach and you hit drive and you release the parking brake, it actually locks all your baggage doors automatically. That's a really sweet feature, so I love that one. As with all Newmars, you have your flush mount slide system. The slide actually fits back into the wall as opposed to going over it, and that just makes leakage and air noise so much less of a possibility. I love this. 50 years. 50 years of building RVs up in Napanee, Indiana. That's a beautiful thing. They know what they're doing. They invented a few little things you might have heard of, such as the slide out or the flat floor slide out. They're pretty good at doing what they do. I think it's safe to say everybody in the industry has copied them. Fuel fill on either side. You don't have to think about when you pull into the fuel station which side is the fuel fill on. If there's an open diesel pump, you can get to it. So that's a wonderful thing there. Aluminum wheels. These aren't hubcaps that go tink, tink, tink when you knock on them. Those are actually aluminum wheels. Not only do aluminum wheels look better, they're also a lot safer, believe it or not. They run cooler. When we do have tire problems, it's usually due to age and or heat. Aluminum dissipates heat better than a steel wheel does, so it's actually a little safer setup there, but mostly they look good. So we like that. We optioned in the Sony television built into the sidewall. This is on a pivoting arm. This is just a magnet, holds it in place. You pull straight out, and I can go forwards, I can go backwards, I can lock it in place just by pushing it back, let the magnets do their job. And new for this year, we got a Bose soundbar out here as well. So not only are we going to be watching some TV, we're going to be listening to it pretty nicely out here as well. And this is Bluetooth capable, so if you want to just sync it to your phone and listen to your favorite tunes off your phone, you can do that. Let's check out some of the storage options. Now, this is a 3709 model, 2018 Ventana 3709. Not everybody wants a 43-footer. I tend to gravitate more towards the big coaches, but I know there's a lot of you out there that just don't want to wrestle with a 43-footer and a tag axle and all that. This is your baby. This is made for you because it still has all the high-end features that you get on the 43-footer, but it's in a much smaller package. So many of the RV manufacturers out there, when they start going smaller, they start going cheaper. They cheapen up the interior, they cheapen up the exterior. That's not the case here. This is still a real diesel pusher, still the same trim level as any other Ventana. It's just a little shorter package. Let's look at the storage, because it does have pretty darn good storage for a 37-foot coach. Notice you have big pass-throughs. This is a raised rail chassis. Most coaches that are under 40 feet long, 36, 38 feet long coaches, they're straight rail chassis. And the difference is you don't get that huge pass-through in a straight rail chassis. This is still the same raised rail platform from Freightliner that their big 43-footers are built on. It just doesn't happen to be 43 feet long and have a tag axle. Behind here, your holding tanks, and Newmar didn't want to just waste that compartment, so they actually put the pegboard there, and you can hang your tools there. And if you need to get your tanks for any reason, for serviceability, there's about 10 screws you pull out and you can get there. More storage here. And then there's some chassis access back here. These are your chassis batteries. This is your chassis disconnect. If you put your coach in storage, you can kind of put it to sleep by shutting that off. New for this year, this single canister down here. This is part of the after treatment from Cummins, part of the emissions. It used to be 2 canisters about that size. One did the NOx gases and the other did the soot. They've now condensed them into one single canister that does both, which just gives us a little more space back here to be creative and put more things in the future for Newmar. So nice when Freightliner and Cummins can condense things down a little bit. It gives us better possibilities there. If we pan up a little bit, we have a very interesting door there, and that door doesn't have a handle on it. Looks like we forgot the handle, we forgot the steps. What in the world were we thinking there? No, it's the emergency exit door. Instead of jumping out on your head through a window like most of the other manufacturers are going to have you do, Newmar actually gave you a nice, safe option to get out of the coach in the event of an emergency. Oh. There we go. Now, I'm going to go to the inside real quick so I can demonstrate this door. One moment. Okay, so they did put a handle on it. It's just on the inside. That's pretty slick. Now, where most companies, like I said, they want you to jump out on your head, Newmar last year came up with this door, and obviously it's not a great scenario to have to jump from right here. I'm 5-6 feet in the air, but I'd rather do that than go out another 2 feet higher head first. So this was a nice improvement to our RV industry when they came out with this. But everything is constantly in motion. Things can always be improved upon. So this year they actually put a window in that opened. That was a nice improvement. But that's not why we're up here. Why we're up here is to show you this. There's a little magnetic panel here, and this just pulls off real easy. I've got a piece of Velcro right here. Then this flips over. And look at that. Now nobody else has this. Newmar builds this thing, so this is a Newmar exclusive. And if I needed to get out of this coach, how slick is that? This just telescopes back in, Velcro's up. I put my panel back on. And it never happened. One of our competitors out there, I've noticed, has a door that is a single-use door. It's like an airbag in a car. Once you use it, you have to go back to the factory and get a new door. Newmar thought a little better than that. They put a little more thought into it. So I think you'll like the emergency exit window or exit door. I hope you never have to use it, but if you do, it's obviously a much better setup than some of the other options you might have. Let's move around. Onto the back of the motorhome. I love the chrome accents we have on the back this year. Just make it look so much better. This has a 360 horsepower Cummins engine in it, tied to an Allison 6-speed transmission, and we can tow 10,000 pounds behind that. So even though it's a 37-foot diesel pusher, it's still got it where it counts. It's still going to climb the mountains, and it's still going to tow your, if you have a big race trailer or something like that you're wanting to tow, it'll still get that done as well. Beautiful one-piece cap. You can see the paint job on there. Their paint schemes are gorgeous this year. I honestly don't know what this one's called yet for 2018. The coach showed up before the window sticker did. I don't have my cheat sheet yet, so as soon as we figure out the color, we'll put it in the notes down at the bottom of the video there. Moving on for storage options, let's take a look in here. Now, as I always tell people with this compartment, most diesel pushers don't even put a storage box here. You open it up and you can see the side of the engine. Well, what the heck good is seeing the side of the engine? Much better to actually have a little bit of storage here. So there's that. Oh, come on, door. There we go. The seals are new. You got to slam them hard. We do have a power, well, it's a 50 amp power cord. It's 50 feet long, and it's a power rewind. That's kind of the best of all worlds right there. This coach will run off of 30 amp, but it runs better off of 50. So when it comes time to put that cord away, instead of wrestling it, if you've ever wrestled one of these 50 amp cords when it's cold outside, it's like wrestling a bear. It's so much easier just to hit the button and the cord goes back in. All right. I apologize, this coach is a little dirty. It literally just rolled in, so we're in the middle of our busy season here. It might be 2 weeks before it actually I can get it washed, but I definitely wanted to get the information on the 2018s out there. This is our DEF tank, diesel exhaust fluid. You use about 1 gallon of this for every 50 gallons of fuel that you use. So in other words, not much. Most people fill this tank twice a year. It ends up being much ado about nothing. The little compartment here is actually for your sewer hose. Your sewer hose has its own little storage box where it mingles with nothing else, which is good. You do get a good view here of your equalizer jack there. There's 4 of those underneath the coach, but you can actually see get a good view of the jack and how big of a platform it has on that hydraulic jack. You can see your slide motor right here. You want to see how beefy everything is that Newmar uses. This is actually a 1-inch solid steel, not hollow steel, 1-inch solid steel shaft that runs underneath the slide room and has 4 cog wheels that are cast iron and about this big around that actually run your slide room in and out. So Newmar slides are very, very reliable because it's such a robust system. It's not cheap and chintzy and supplied by an aftermarket company. It's something Newmar designed themselves, and again, exclusive to them. Moving on. Here's our wet bay. Now the wet bay is a heated compartment. Anytime your heating system inside the coach is running, you're actually pumping heat into here as well. So if you're in cold weather temperatures, you don't have to sweat it. You also don't have to sweat it because Newmar has the thickest walls in the industry, the thickest floors in the industry, the thickest baggage doors in the industry, thickest roof in the industry, and by far the thickest floor in the industry. Everybody talks about how well insulated their coaches are, and they give these fake R values out there that are, you know, better R values than a house has, and that's interesting. But what's really adorable is when they don't talk about their floor of their basement that's this thick. When it comes to insulating something, you're only as strong as your weakest point. And if you do nice insulation up here, but your floor is this thick, it's gonna freeze like a popsicle, folks. This floor is this thick, full of insulation. It's just a better insulated coach. Now, everything's labeled in here. You do have a power hose reel. You have a whole house water filtration system. You have a black tank flush. If things start to smell a little bit inside the coach, or your gauges, well, actually, your gauges will never read false in here. That's a different conversation. But if you want to rinse out your black tank, you simply hook a hose up to that while you're dumping your black tank, and it'll actually rinse the inside of the tank as you go. This clear hose here is for winterization. It'll suck the fluid right out of the bottle when it comes time to winterize, which is a whole lot easier for you and uses a whole lot less RV antifreeze. You've got hot and cold water out here to wash up with. This is a lighted compartment. This is a heated compartment. Can't say enough good about it. All right, moving on. All right, we have a nice storage compartment, and we also have a green box. What in the world is this green box? Probably thinking your motorhome at home doesn't have a green box. Why do I need a green box? Well, the green box is the Oasis system. The Oasis system is a hydronic heating system. Now, hydronic heating works by circulating RV, what we call boiler antifreeze, throughout a closed loop inside the coach. So this is our little pump, and this is our boiler room out here. This fluid gets circulated throughout the coach. There's little, what we call heat exchangers. They look like baby radiators hidden throughout the coach where you can't see them. But when you're heating with this system, it uses either electric or diesel fuel to heat that boiler antifreeze, circulates it throughout the coach, and you get nice, quiet, efficient heat. It doesn't dry the air out like a propane furnace does. It doesn't make nearly as much noise as a propane furnace does. And it doesn't use nearly as much fuel. Even if it's running on the diesel fuel side, it doesn't use nearly as much fuel as a propane furnace would use propane. So if you're in a 50 amp service, this works pretty darn well off of electric as well. But you can always run it off diesel fuel for when you're in the extremes. Any questions on hydronic? This heats your water as well. So unlimited, on-demand, hot water. So any questions on hydronic heating systems, let me know. I would love to spend some time with you, and we'll go over all that. All right, next compartment. Big pass-through storage. Now, we did not put a tray in here. We did not put a tray in here because sometimes you need the height. In the tray, you lose a couple inches of height. If you got a tall object, you'll appreciate not having that. There's LED lighting all throughout here. These are really neat to open up at night, but shooting videos at night is not so neat, so you'll have to take my word for the LED lighting underneath. And then we have a bank of 8 house batteries. These are 6-volt interstate house batteries. They're on a pull-out tray for accessibility. You can pull them out and check all your fluid levels in the batteries. Easy to get to. Wiring schematics right there if you ever need to replace a battery. You can't screw that up because they literally give you the map to how to do it right there. All right. What you didn't see is a propane tank. On a 37-foot coach, just about everything's gonna have a propane tank. We don't have a propane tank. It's an all-electric coach. So we'll go inside, take a look at some of the options there. Before we do that, we will pan around to the front. Actually, I didn't even show you the nose of it. Let's get up front there. This is just some chassis fuses and everything here. This is kind of a Freightliner compartment, if you will, some of the chassis components. But Newmar did put a nice little fuse holder in here. That's new for 2018. So you do have spare fuses for all the different sizes you might have. Up in the nose of our diesel pusher, we have a generator. Now that makes the most sense in the world because, number one, your bedroom's at the back of the coach, so having the generator as far away from you as possible is going to make it nice and quiet. A diesel generator is pretty quiet anyway, so that's nice because it does get you good power. It's an 8,000. Most coaches of this size are going to have like a 6,000 watt generator in them. This is an 8,000, so a little more robust. Again, better to have too much than not enough. So that's the thought here. Now, a couple things on here. They've taken the air horns and mounted them inside here. Turns out they work just as well. They're still plenty loud. But they're not outside rusting and everything getting crudted up. They're not up on the roof. We're not poking holes in the roof, which are more opportunities to leak. They put them down here. We also put this little red guy right here. Looks like a water spigot, doesn't it? That's because it's a water spigot. This is tied directly to your hot water lines in the coach. So if you want to wash your coach or wash the bugs off your windshield, you can do it with hot water right out the front of the coach. And then we got a little air line here. Well, that air line has 2 purposes. Number one, you can actually air up your tires or your beach ball or your basketball with it. Okay, it's just a simple quick connect, just like any other compressor. Because diesel coaches do have air tanks, they do have compressors, so that's access to it. It's also for serviceability in the event that, God forbid, a coach ever had to be towed because it had an air system problem. A tow truck that's equipped to tow this can actually introduce air into the system to release the brakes with that. So just another nice little bit of trivia there on what those are actually for. All right, put this up. Now let's go inside and check out the inside of this coach. Okay, we're inside the Ventana. I know people like it when we show them with the slides in, so we're going to start. This is how you would be going down the road. Huge up front here. Huge. Nice and wide. No restrictions whatsoever all the way back through the kitchen, to the couch, to the booth. Gets a little snug right through here, but this is where all coaches kind of do that. It's still plenty big enough to get through. I can get to the refrigerator. If I need to get a drink out of the refrigerator, that's easy enough. Also, the bathroom. This door is an articulating door, so once that's opened up, it's a very easy in and out. Okay, so now you've seen it with the slides in. Let's show it to you with the slides out. Okay, we are inside of the 2018 Newmar Ventana 3709 model. Nice small bath and a half model, very maneuverable, easy to get around. I was tootling around the parking lot in this and turned it around in a couple really tight spots. Had some people shocked in the parking lot that I could actually make the turn that I did. So like I said, if you're looking for small and maneuverable, this was a great one for you. Doesn't feel small. You know, when you're inside, this feels like a big motorhome. You know, it's just for that person that doesn't want 43, 45 footers, this is a coach you should check out. They did not skimp on the trim level. When you look at this, you've got a polished porcelain tile floor, beautiful Corian everywhere, flex steel furniture galore, beautiful woodwork, all solid hardwood, fiberglass roof. There's just no skimping going on here. So let's start up in the front. We'll work our way to the back. And as always, if you have questions, don't hesitate to call. Now, they've completely been able to change this panel. This is one of my favorite changes they made. This is no longer the head knocker. This cabinet used to be deeper because it held the big Sony 5.1 surround sound system, which was a great system, but it was big. And being so big, it made this cabinet big, and then you knocked your head and you bled, and I've done all this. So anyway, it's gone. This cabinet is much more scaled back. They did 2 nice cabinets on either side of it here. So we gained some storage, and it just looks better because this one's not protruding as far. We'll go over these controls briefly with you just so you can kind of see what everything is. All the way over here we have our satellite control. We did option in an in-motion satellite on this coach. This is where you turn that on. Up to the monitor panel here, this monitors the power that is coming into the coach. So this can kind of determine whether it's a 30 amp or a 50 amp service and help you not go over that load range by it actually will systematically turn some things on and off to keep you under your 30 amp service if that's what you happen to be on. So neat system. The best part about this is it'll tell you all sorts of stuff, but you really never have to touch it. So that's a beautiful thing. New for this year, the new Newmar gauge system here, instead of being like 1/3 full, 2/3 full, that type of thing, it's actually all digitally laid out now. You know, our batteries aren't 2/3 full. We've got 14.4 volts on the house and 12.46 on the chassis, so you can tell exactly what they're doing. Our fresh tank has 25% in it. Our gray and our black are absolutely 0. So everything being digital is going to be much more accurate. It's also easier to read. When you look at it, it's actually very easy to see what's going on. This runs your awning over the little awning over the door in and out. This runs your main awning in and out and controls the motion sensor that would bring it back in extreme winds. This box up here actually controls your inverter. Now inverters do the opposite of converters. An inverter takes battery power, 12 volt DC current, and inverts it into 110 volt AC current, which is what we have when we plug something in our house. Benefit there is I can take that bank of 8 batteries, run it through a 2800 watt inverter, and run my electric refrigerator going down the road indefinitely. When you're running the engine, it charges your batteries supply the inverter supplies the refrigerator. It's an endless cycle. If you shut off the engine, you're no longer charging. You can go somewhere 2 to 3 days without any extra charging. If your batteries are good without any extra influences charging those batteries, you can go 2 to 3 days. Now, if you start your generator, you're charging your batteries. You start your engine, you're charging your batteries. You plug in at a campground, you're charging your batteries. So these all-electric coaches, I know some people are still a little concerned that their refrigerator doesn't run off propane anymore, but the refrigerators have gotten more reliable, and people love the extra space of the all-electric refrigerators because of the inverters. But anyway, your inverter control is right here. This also has a button called AGS. AGS is Auto Generator Start. And your auto generator start can be set to, if your coach is in storage and the batteries start to get a little weak, say you set your AGS to come on at 11.7. Your batteries drop down to 11.7 volts. The generator fires up and runs for 3 hours while it charges your batteries back up. That's an awesome setup. It can also be set to come on for demand from the thermostat. So if you set it to reach, if it reached a certain temperature in here and the thermostat needs to come on, it'll come on, start the generator itself so that you can run the air conditioners, and you weren't even home to make all this happen. You preset it ahead of time. So auto generator start, very high-end feature, very nice. It's actually pretty easy to program. Somebody wants to see how that works, come on in. Next box here, this little box is controls our slide outs for our front 2 slides. That's how you run those in and out. We have our Oasis system here. We talked about that on the outside, that it'll actually run off of electric or off of diesel, either one. You turn that system on right here. And then we have our exterior step switch and our security lights for the passenger side right here in this control as well. And you do have a little bit of storage up there if you need it. So pretty slick. All right, so now that's kind of our control center. We'll go around the dash here a little bit. We have a fully automatic leveling jack system. You want to level this coach, you just pull into your camp spot, you set your brake, you hit power, you hit auto level, you walk away. Engine brake. engine brake can actually use the engine to slow you down in the mountains and such. If you top a mountain and you're going downhill, instead of riding your brakes, which is going to heat up your brakes, going to wear on your brakes, and eventually brakes will fail if they get too hot, you actually use your engine brake. Just turn it on and leave it on, and then anytime you take your foot off the gas, it will start to slow the coach down. But it uses the engine to do it, not your brake, not wearing out your brakes. This is your 6-speed Allison transmission control panel. This is a smart transmission. By default, it goes into what's called an economy mode, which is going to shift at the points where it gets you the best fuel economy. But you can also switch it into a more user learning mode, where it learns how you drive, and will actually put its shift points based on how you accelerate for smoothness. On a motorhome application, I don't think it changes the fuel economy a whole lot, but that's what this system's for. You can also check like your fluid levels and everything through this panel. You put it in, you hit your mode switch there, and you can actually run it through and check your transmission fluid and that type of thing right through that touchpad. So a lot of neat features there. You've got 2 drink holders here, and then storage cubbies down below. Okay. We put this year, they've got the charging pad in here. My phone is now charging. I just set it there and the charger came on. So if your phone supports wireless, what we call QI charging, then all you have to do is set it on that pad and it charges going down the road. I put one of those, I liked it so much on here, I honestly put one in my own vehicle. It's awesome. I just set my phone up there and it charges while I'm going down the road. Here is your controls for your or not your controls, that's your screen for your cameras. You have a backup camera and you have 2 side cameras, so that's nice. And then there's comfort drive control here. What's this comfort drive, you ask? Well, let's talk about comfort drive for a moment. I'm going to take a seat. I'm going to start my engine, and we're going to demonstrate comfort drive. Now, what comfort drive is it's a computer controlled steering servo. That's a bunch of words. What's it do? Well, what it does is it takes all the fatigue off the driver and the coach does the work for you. How it does it is a couple things it's going to do for you. First of all, if you've ever driven, if you own a diesel coach or you've spent much time driving one, you know when you're maneuvering, when you're in those gas stations, when you're in that tight campground or you're backing into a spot, driving a diesel coach is a lot of this. It's hand over hand, you're bouncing in the seat, you're working a little bit. You don't think about it at the time, but you're working. And after, a few hours of working, you're ready to be done. So the first thing comfort drive does is it takes all the resistance out of the steering wheel. There's a control for it here, and you can kind of turn it up or down based on what you want. But the big thing to realize, try this on your diesel pusher at home. Instead of the big hand over hand exercise, I'm going to take one pinky finger. I'm going to be able to work my coach with my pinky finger. That's pretty neat. Here's something else I'll bet your coach at home doesn't do. It won't go back to center on its own. Folks, we're not going down the road right now. We're at a dead stop in my parking lot. The jacks are not down. We're just sitting on the ground. The coach always takes itself back to what we call zero, back to straight ahead. That's nice because when you're getting backed up and you're getting lined up with that parking spot and your person that's spotting you says, okay, now straight back, and you start to straighten your wheels. Was that one time around or 3? I can't see your wheels. You don't know if they're straight. We love it here at the lot when we're parking the Newmars because we get them lined up and then you just let go. The wheel straightens itself. I back it right in. So it always coming back to zero is wonderful. The other thing it does is anybody that's ever spent much time driving a motorhome, gas or diesel, either one, has done this. You're going straight down the road. And instead of your wheel being nice and comfortable and I'll set up here like this, okay, you're doing this. And the reason you're doing that is because you got a crosswind coming this way and you're turning your wheel to here just to go straight. Sometimes I've seen it to where you're turning your wheel to here just to go straight. That causes a lot of driving fatigue. It causes stress, and anytime you get yourself fighting that crosswind, if you pay attention, you're not doing this. You're white knuckling, okay? You're holding on to your coach. It's not fun, it's not smooth, it's not easy. The comfort drive system, after about 30 seconds at speed, it realizes, hey, this wheel's cocked, we're fighting a crosswind. You don't even feel it happen, but all of a sudden, you're back to 10 and 2. And the wheel's as light as a feather. You don't even feel it happen. and it's fighting the crosswind for you. The difference is, and I have many customers that are reporting back and say they all love it, but the ones that really take the long trips love it the most because they were going to drive 4 hours and they went 6 or 8 hours because they just weren't tired. They're sitting in a very comfortable chair, and instead of this or this is how you drive a Newmar. It's a thumb and 2 fingers, and you're having a nice conversation. 1 hand, 2 hands, doesn't matter. This is how you drive a Newmar. Comfort Drive is a game changer. It is exclusive to Newmar. If you don't believe it is a game changer, drive it. Talk is cheap. I realize I'm a salesperson. I get all that. Drive it. Call my bluff. See the difference. Come to me if you're close by. Come to me. I'll drive you in any other coach you want to drive on my lot that doesn't have it, and we'll drive it in this, and you tell me if it's a game changer. Without fail, it is. So, enough on that. Got my 2 cents worth in on Comfort Drive there. Okay. Passenger side. Well, we got a nice step well cover here. They've moved the controls for that, I believe. Yeah. Controls for it used to be in the center of the dash. They now gave it directly to the passenger. That's probably the person that needs it the most. There we go. And this is very safe to stand on. So your feet as a passenger aren't dangling over the hole. They shouldn't be dangling anyway because this chair actually has a nice recliner built into it. So there you go. All right, let's move throughout the coach here. We have a nice fireplace straight across from the sofa. We have a televator. Now, one thing they did change this year, I came in this coach, I'm like, well, I want to raise the TV. Where's my televator switch? It's always right here. How about over here? Makes a lot more sense to have it near where you're sitting as opposed to have it over here. So there's your televator switch. Of course, we're all LED lighting through here. I mean, those are things you expect. We have MCD shades throughout this coach. Those are things you expect. This is solid wood, but here, so is this. Most coaches, it's not. Okay, this is usually a wrapped wood of some kind. This is real wood in a Ventana, so you'll like that. We got our Blu-ray player in here. We did go away from the Sony system, but look what we put in. It's a Bose system. So stepped it up even more, even better. Incredible soundbar system. It actually makes a little more sense. A soundbar, in my mind, makes a little more sense in a motorhome application. It's less wiring, less speakers throughout. It's all centrally located. I think that's a huge win for this year, for 2018. All right, everybody wants to see the kitchen storage, so here we go. Let's get them opened up. Show everybody what they want to see. Oops. So I count 7 drawers in the kitchen. Lots of cabinets, adjustable space, a pull-out tray on the deep cabinet here above the sink. 30-inch convection microwave here as well. That's a Whirlpool. All right, let me close these up and I'll show you some other things. Getting a workout just closing all the cabinets. We have an induction undermount cooktop. If you're not familiar with induction, I have one of these at home. I love it. These are the ones that cook on they have to be steel pans. They have to be magnetic. So you do have to have a different set of cookware if you have an all aluminum cookware at home. That won't work on here, but everything steel does, and you'll like it. It heats up very quickly. It cools off very quickly. Just a couple minutes after taking a pan off of there, that's cool to the touch. You can't do that with a glass cooktop. The big thing is for motorhome applications, they actually use less energy than a true electric cooktop, which allows us to put it in a motorhome application a little easier. You don't have to have a 220 volt service dedicated to that. That cooktop also comes out, and you can take it outside and cook with it out on the picnic table if you want to. Pull down sink sprayer, double bowl stainless sink. Look at your Corian, look at your backsplash. Newmar does all of that themselves. Can I see some of the backlit accent lighting here as well. We talked about the hydronic heating system outside. I told you they hid those heat exchangers. Well, where'd they hide them? There's one there. There's one down here. So you can see, you probably looked at those kitchen storage and never even noticed the little louvers. That's where your heat exchangers are for the coach. There's one down here below this mirror back in the back. So they're very well hidden throughout. By the way, how quiet is a Newmar? The generator's running, 2 air conditioners are running on this coach right now. Has been the whole time. So you don't even hear it. It's so darn quiet. Here's why you don't hear it. Oops, wrong side. There we go. Newmar's ducting system. You don't see the air conditioner. The air conditioner doesn't stick down into the coach. Window air conditioners stick into your room. Central air should not. So these are output ducts here. These are return ducts here. There's a nice thick roof in between us, lots of insulation, so it's much more of a central air type system. How easy are your filters to clean? That's nice, and when you're done cleaning them, you're done. All right, so moving on, we have a hide-a-bed sofa here. Okay, that's a standard residential hide-a-bed. A booth dinette, we did the Newmar calls this a comfort booth. This will make into a bed, and there is storage underneath. Fully residential Whirlpool refrigerator with a drawer freezer below. Big pantry, adjustable shelves. Alright, we have a double pocket door here. These lock themselves in place, either fully open or closed. So you don't have any special latches that you have to tether it back with, just push it back in its spot and it's locked in place. This is a full wall slide on this side. The kitchen is on its own slide, the bed is on its own slide. Come back in here, we have a nice queen size bed, 2 wardrobe closets, 5 drawers below, another nice Sony television. There is a Blu-ray player for in here as well. We'll get a shot of the storage above the bed. Oh, I skipped the half bath, didn't I? Shame. Driving my cameraman crazy. Alright, get a shot of the half bath here. Nice size. It's not huge, but it's a half bath. This is made to use when you're going down the road or for your guests to use once you have camp set up, because you got your own bathroom. Alright. Sorry about that. Now we'll get to the full bath back here. This is really nice size. We have about a 38-inch, I believe, might be 36, neo-angle shower in here. Back in this corner, there's a nice wardrobe with a safe. Okay. Good. This is deep. There's a lot of countertop space here. Also deep here. So nice deep medicine cabinet. Then back in the corner. So we have a 37-foot coach with a bath and a half, a stackable washer dryer, 3 wardrobe closets, a full wall slide and 2 other slides, and you want to see the emergency egress door from the inside. Here it is. You saw me jump out of here from the outside. Here it is from the inside. Again, there's no latch on the outside, so I think it's funny they put a lock on it. You can lock it, but since there's no handle on the outside, it'd be kind of hard to open. But that's what this is. This is just up here. This pops right off the wall. If you wanted more space around here, this whole window treatment is just latched on the wall, so you can pop it right off there if you want to. I think we're about to cover it, and my cameraman's giving me the sign that we're about to lose the battery. So I think we better wrap this one up. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please click like down at the bottom. Call me with any questions. Thanks for watching. My name is Chris Anderson. I'm with Mount Comfort RV.